Prove your freedom.
You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth.
Hello, everyone. It is Monday. It is time to get back into the SHTF. Welcome to the Prepared Mind channel. I want to thank everyone for all the great support, for sharing these videos, for hitting the thumbs up, for hitting the subscribe button if you're new, and I do recommend that. Now, in the past, I've done, conspiracy videos, that dirty, dirty word, where I have attempted to show some interesting points of view, some interesting facts. Now, we're in a weird place because I don't think America and the world really sees what's going on. So I want to touch on two topics today, which are similar but distinct enough. And we can compare them to where we're at now, where we've been in the past, and what we can expect in the future. So, I want to start with the problem with Trump. I'm not talking about Trump being the problem. I'm talking about the problem with Trump. The problem that the bad guys have. The problem is he's extremely popular. Extremely popular. The problem is that we're all watching very closely. Now, one of the things that, folks, the CIA, the Davos gang, the World Economic Forum, Klaus Schwab and all, the problem these people have with Trump is there are way too many facts out there, way too much media, and they need to maintain a semblance of normalcy as they transition from the old way to the new way. That is their new paradigm they want us to live under, where we give everything away. We give up all ownership and rights to them, and we rely on them, the elites, to rule us. It's going to be a slow transition, they think, and they can't shock us too bad. Right? And folks, that's not a new technique. It's always been done that way. They can hit us with some stuff, but they have to be very careful about how they do it. So I want to take you back into the past just a little bit. And I want to talk about JFK. And yeah, there's a similarity between Trump and JFK. Now, let me show you a couple of pictures. And then we'll talk about what we can expect will be coming. The fact of the matter is there were a lot of bullets found, bullets that hit the curb, bullets that hit the grass. There were a lot more witnesses saying there were a lot more gunshots. In fact, let me show you this one here. That is a picture of JFK's limousine when it was parked at the hospital where they took his body shortly after his brains were blown all over. That is a bullet impact to the frame of the windshield. In addition to that, I have pictures also, but I would rather just go with those two pictures because I don't want to overwhelm with pictorial evidence. But a physician who attended to President John F. Kennedy noted that there was also a bullet hole in the windshield. There's bullet holes all over the place, folks, with JFK, but we're told there were 3 bullets. They all came from one shooter and one man, and that was, of course, the Lee Harvey Oswald. Now, here's the deal, folks. Kennedy, there was an incredible amount of ammunition put down. Right? Connally was shot through the ribs. Connally was shot through the wrist. Connally was shot in the leg. And he was sitting in the set of seats, one set in front of Kennedy. How did one man get shot 3 different times? Well, of course, they give us the magic bullet. The same bullet that went through Kennedy's neck and neck bones out his chest also hit Connally 3 times and then appeared on a stretcher in pristine condition with no blood on it. Okay? Now, the fact of the matter, according to many theorists, is that John F. Kennedy, President of the United States, was killed, right, by the CIA. They've been implicated by some theorists, the mob, the U.S. Army was involved, or the Pentagon, fascist business owners and tycoons, right? Now, why did they do this? Why did they have Kennedy killed? By a slew of assassins who were all right there at Dealey Plaza in Texas, Dallas, Texas. It's because they were under attack from JFK. JFK, John F. Kennedy, and his brother, the Attorney General, Robert Kennedy, were attempting to stop the military-industrial complex, the CIA. They were going to expose the mafia and all their involvement together, and he had to be stopped. Well, he was stopped, was he not? At the same time, those same powers, the CIA, the mafia, the Pentagon, the Army, business owners, they couldn't have a hand in it, nor let the public know that their own government, there was an internal government coup with JFK. Now we fast forward to Trump. The powers that be needed to get rid of him. The CIA, the FBI, the bureaucracy, all the Democrats, all the rhinos, all the massive corporate interests that were anti-Trump, including the mainstream media, folks, they needed to get rid of Trump. But could they risk the world saying, hey, you did this to JFK, but not this time? Would there be too many people filming it, too many people analyzing it? Could they bring about enough censorship on the news and also here on YouTube and other social media? Or would we expose what they did the same way we exposed Handy Sook, 9/11, and other more recent false flags, right? Trump had to be destroyed, folks. So they used the media. They used stonewalling in Washington, D.C. Because all of these interests, whether they're criminal or government elements, big businesses who have interest in worldwide implementation of their programs. Let me remind you, we're in SHTF right now. The World Economic Forum, which is massive business interests, banking interests, resource interests. They want America out of the picture. And they could not have a Make America Great Again president because he was planning on making America great again, independent of world and control by these people, and instead controlled by us, the people. That's too risky. They can't afford that. See, a lot of people think Trump is a stooge put in there. Why bring in a stooge just to discredit him and take 4 more years to get their plan going? They wanted Hillary. They wanted anyone but Trump. Right? That is what the facts seem to bear out, is that Trump was in there, but Trump was in the way. Trump is a problem. They cannot risk having Trump one more time. So they're doing all they can. They impeached him twice. They're trying to hold. Why are they pushing this January 6th insurrection lie? Well, because it's part of the greater conspiracy. You see, there were extra bullets that were fired with JFK. But the Warren Commission, which was a government commission, much like the January 6th Commission, looked at the evidence and decided that a single bullet created all the wounds inside the car, with the exception of the first neck shot. Right? And anyways, it's incredible. Yeah, the first neck shot, which also hit everyone else. They can't have this again. They need to keep us calm. They need to keep us scared. But shit has hit the fan. They're trying to change the world over right now. The problem with Trump is their problem with us. Us paying attention, not listening to mainstream media, learning what is happening in the world, getting prepared. That's what we can do. Taking action, prep to action. That's what we can do. Folks, the president is just one tiny piece, but a powerful piece on this chessboard. Trump was stonewalled, blackballed, blacklisted, attacked, right? And they have to stop him. He's opening up his new social media today. Folks, you want freedom and liberty? We have to fight for it. This is an information war. This is a psychological war. The powers that be back then in 1963 put a bullet through JFK's head, and several other bullets beside were flying. He was killed, folks. And in the link down below in the description is a link to a long documentary on how Kennedy was killed and how they covered it up, how they hid everything, the amount of lawlessness and recklessness and unbelievable actions that were taken when JFK was killed. Imagine how hard that would be today with us, right? So they had to do what they did in the 2020 election. They had to do it. They have to get rid of Trump, but they can't afford to assassinate him publicly. They can't afford that. They can't do it again. But I want you to be able to watch that documentary on JFK and understand just one person, getting rid of one powerful person in the way is incredibly difficult. And silencing all of us is incredibly difficult, because look at the gymnastics the powers that be, the medical industrial complex, the media industrial complex, the military industrial complex, the educational industrial complex. Look at all the gymnastic and hoops they have to jump through to silence us, to put us down, to lock us down, to scare us all, to hurt us. Look at all the energy the government's having to expend to get control over us. Right? They can't afford to say, that's it, it's a military coup, we're throwing the president out, the World Economic Forum is running everything. People would lose their shit. They would instantly revolt, would they not? So they have to convince us that everything is normal. This is the new normal. And everything, oh, you're fine. You just can't travel. You can't go this place. You have to get a certain jabberoo. You know, the Jim Jones juice. You've got to do that. You've got to do everything they say, but they're doing it in a peaceful way, as quiet as they can, incrementally as they can, systematically as they can. Once again, right, their patience is wearing thin, but they can't make you do anything. They're getting in trouble in Canada because they're resorting to violence to stop the people from saying enough of this shit. They have to be very careful, folks. There's a problem with freedom and liberty. It's like herding cats, because everyone that believes they're free, they run different directions and make different things, different parts of their focus. The problem with Trump is the same problem they had with JFK. JFK was trying to expose them all, and he was going to do it. They didn't have the control they have today over people's minds. So they just waxed him, told a fantastic lie, came up with a magic bullet theory, installed their own leadership, Lyndon Baines Johnson, and pushed for their incremental steps that have taken us to today, where they can't just come out and shoot President Trump. They can't do it. I mean, I guess they could, but would that shock the people enough that we knew who did it, why they did it, and cause us to all wake up suddenly as if from a nightmare and demand change and no more, and the reinstitution and installment of our Constitution? You see, we have emergency powers now that are out there. They do not want a revolt from the people. They don't want a legitimate, lawful demand of a return of our rights. They don't want that. They need us to quietly go into that good night. This is just one. I'm going to do probably another talk on an even bigger picture of what's going on and why this is playing out the way it is. But it's different, folks. People don't see it because we're living, we think, right, in a real reality. This can't be real, what's happening. What happened to JFK couldn't be real. What happened on 9/11 couldn't be real, right? How did Germany give up its rights and allow Hitler in? That's a much bigger picture, but it's the same issue at hand. The same things back then are happening right now. Yeah, let's get into that. That'll be the next video. We'll discuss how we are in World War III and the same exact things are happening. I'll see you there. For now, Chance Favors the Prepared Mind is yours. If you want, watch that video on JFK. It is a documentary and an examination of who, what, where, when, why, and how. And of course, who benefited. You guys be cool. Semper Fi. Chance Favors the Prepared Mind. Aren't you glad you're a prepper?